So I made a video earlier today to talk about XRP's supply, mainly to speak on the escrow and adding what is left into what we already have. And I briefly touched over the fact that XRP will never reach a 100 billion coin supply. And there's a major reason as to why it can never reach a 100 billion coin supply. And that is because of the deflationary aspect of it, deflationary nature of XRP. I know you're probably like, deflationary? What are you talking about? It adds coins every single month. It has to be inflationary. And when you look at it and look at how much is being added, yes, you can say they're adding coins. That's you're adding, you're diluting the price. It's some sort of inflation, right? It makes sense. But when we look at the mechanism, when we look at what XRP is built off of, you can see that it has a deflationary aspect to it, and that is simply by the burn rate that they have associated with it. I think a lot of people, this kind of goes over your head because you're like, this is non-existent. It's not going to matter because it doesn't matter now. It's not going to matter in the future. And that's not true. They made this burn rate extremely small, but it doesn't mean that it won't have an impact in the long run. When we talk about use, when we talk about adoption, when we talk about the amount of transactions that are going to go through for XRP, that starts to become a massive amount of transactions, meaning we have a crazy amount of burns that are happening. Now, it's never going to be a point where it's like 50% is being burned off in a day. That would be ridiculous, right? But you are going to see that be able to compound just like you would if you were adding $20 a day and putting it into an ETF, or $20 a day and putting it into your retirement account, right? So let's talk about this burn rate, and let's give you a little bit more information behind it to maybe hype you up a bit about what XRP could be in the long run. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel. If you guys want to check out my link for BTCC, feel free to check it out. It is honestly a phenomenal platform that I've been able to utilize for 9 months. That you can get a 10% deposit bonus when you use my link, extra bonuses up to $10,055, and you can get 40% lower trading fees. Now, you can also trade up to a 500x leverage. I never recommend 500x leverage, but you can do it if you feel bold. But you can also do a 1x leverage or 2x leverage, which is phenomenal, and other platforms will only allow you to go down to about a 5x leverage, meaning that if you do a 2x leverage, that means if the position loses 50%, it's more likely for you to succeed, right? Because it's not going to lose 50%. It's highly unlikely that it's going to drop 50%. Now, anything could happen, but if you're especially in a bear market, you have nothing but upside within it, especially for the long term. So anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, check out that link down below for BTCC. But let's look at XRP real quick. So XRP is currently at $2.23. We're seeing it down by, down. I was at 7 days. Down by 3% on the day. 1.31 or $131 billion market cap with $2.46 billion in volume. If we look at that supply, the total supply is 99.98 billion, max supply 100 billion, and 58.8 billion for the circulating supply. Now, the distance between this and this obviously has a lot of people worried in how much can be added, and also what the market cap will be even at that added supply, which will be added about $1 billion a month every single month until obviously you get to that point. Now, who knows what the escrow will be and what it will be used for, whether it's a reserve or whether you will just continue to sell the escrow and add that to the circulating supply. Who really knows? But know that this could never get to 100 billion coin supply because of what has been burned off. Now, I'll tell you, the burn rate definitely doesn't have a significant impact. We're only seeing all time that has been burned for XRP is 13.975 million coins. 13.9 million coins out of the billions of coins that are out there. This is all time, meaning that since inception, since the start of it, we see 14 million coins that have been burned out of the 100 billion that is out there. So it's not necessarily the largest impact at all to this. Now, why is that the case? The reason for that is because XRP has a tiny amount or a tiny burn rate, which is roughly 0.00001 XRP per transaction, right? This small fee is burned rather than going to validators or miners, helping to reduce the overall XRP supply. The burn rate can vary depending on a specific transaction, but it is designed to be consistent and small portion of each transaction, meaning that it really doesn't have a large impact at all with that amount. So giving you some numbers, giving you some context here, the amount that can be burned with 1 million transactions, which is what we see, is about 10 XRP per day, right? Times multiplied by 365, you're looking at 3,650 XRP per day, which at certain prices, obviously is a lot of money, but it doesn't matter about the money, it matters about the supply. And we're currently seeing the supply being burnt, not the overall price figure being burnt. So again, if you see that, that's not really having a major impact. However, when you start to see major transactions, when you start to see a shift in using XRP in the long run, we could see a major pickup of that. Showing you that information here. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see it just a little bit more, right? If you see this here, 10 million transactions. If you can get to 10 million transactions, which we have gotten to half of that, you can see $100 per day. And then seeing that multiplied by 365. Yep. Multiplied by 365, you're looking at 36,500. Still not a significant impact seeing that per year. Literally just adding for 10 years, you're looking at 365,000. If you go ahead and do that for 100 million transactions, it would be 365,000. 1 billion transactions, it would be 3.6 million. And then obviously looking at a 1 trillion transactions that we could see per day, which could be the case, right? We see many transactions that are happening with cash and all types of currency. If you see that, you're looking at 10 million coins per day, being 3.6 billion coins that could be taken out per year. Obviously, that would be amazing to be able to see that, but that's only if you see the maximum level of what you can see in transactions. So it could honestly have a larger impact as you move along. But if you look at the amount of transactions that are happening, not just the dollars in the day, you're looking at standard transactions and people's money. You're looking at business transactions, bank transactions, foreign transactions, shipping overseas, cross-border payments. You're talking about transactions in other countries, right? You're talking about many different pieces that can be that can implement this world currency involved in all of that, right? You're talking about potentially trillions of transactions that could go through in a single day, meaning that billions could be burned off, meaning that you could see that supply drop significantly in the long run. Now, this may not be the case right now, and it probably won't happen this year, next year, or 5 years from now. You might see it 10, 20 years from now, or maybe even 30 years from now, to where XRP's overall amount is lowering there. But then you could also look at the fact that majority of XRP and the fact that the price goes up with more use, it makes it more desirable, so people will hold it and treat it as a store of value as well as a currency. A collectible as well as a currency means that the price goes up because you have less that's actually in circulation. Does that make sense? So anyways, I'm hype about this because I see so much potential in what could be. It doesn't mean that it will be, but I see so much potential in what could be and how much we could see based on decreasing that supply in the end versus increasing the supply. So while you have many people that have made a bunch of money throughout time, the people that are holding on to XRP for the long term, and then I'm talking about extreme long term or forever tokens, you will then see that go from a point to be extremely diluted, so diluted to the fullest extent, 99 billion coins, and then you're going to see that decrease that supply or become super deflationary and increase the price just based on the decreasing supply and the amount of people that are holding it and the use of it and the dollar value transactions that are happening in the end. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Is this something that gets you a little bit hype for XRP in the future, or is it just something where you're like, I want to see things that are happening now, right? I want it to change my life now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, again, check out my link for BTCC down below. I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.